Call to order the Monday, November 3rd meeting of the Gardner City Council. The clerk will now please call the roll.
Councilor Brooks.
Present.
Councilor Peg Cormier.
Present.
Councilor Delawitz.
Present.
Councilor Harder. Present. Councilor Heath.
Present.
Councilor Hegland.
Present.
Councilor Kazinskas.
Present.
Councilor Mack.
Present.
Councilor Tassoni.
Present.
Councilor Tebow Munoz.
Present.
And President Tyrus.
Present. Those who wish may now rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and opening prayer.
Almighty
God, we thank you for bringing us together this evening, inspiring us with worthy deeds and sound decisions, and directing us toward the attainment of good city government. We pray that you bless and protect all the people of our city, and through lives inspire us that we may deliberate in unity and harmony. Amen.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Announcement of open meeting recording. Any person may make a video or audio recording of an open session of a meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium subject to reasonable requirements of the chair as to the number, placement, and operation of equipment used so as to not interfere with the conduct of the meeting. Any person intending to make such a recording shall notify the chair forthwith. All documents and exhibits used or referenced at the meeting must be submitted in duplicate to the city clerk as they become part of the meeting minutes. Is anyone recording tonight's meeting? No response. There are no prior meeting minutes. There are no public hearings. There are no communications from the mayor. Petitions, applications, communications. Item 11716, an application submitted by E.J. Wilson Trucking for a flammable license located at 163 and 169 Colony Road. Councilor Cormier.
Move to schedule a public hearing.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Cormier, second by Councilor Dernalowitz to schedule a public hearing. Is there discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion passes. Finance Committee, item 11700, a measure authorizing the city to borrow $6,911,028 for the Gardner Middle School, Massachusetts School Building Authority Accelerated Repair Roof Replacement Project at 297 Catherine Street. Councilor Dernalowitz.
Thank you, President Harris. I'd like to make a motion to authorize the measure.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Dernalowitz, second by Councilor Mack to authorize the measure. Is there discussion? Councilor Dernalowitz.
Thank you, President Harris. I'd like to thank the other members of the Finance Committee for the questions they asked during our committee level work, as well as all the work done up here at the full council level. Questions that were asked, further clarity that we received, I think has been very helpful, and I will be in support of this authorization. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Dernalowitz. Any further council comments? Councilor Brooks.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am planning to support this loan order. The new middle school is almost 30 years old, so yes, it is time to replace the roof. My expectation is, however, that no money would be borrowed on this order and that it will be rescinded when the project is complete. The city has already appropriated $1.2 million toward its share, with the MSBA covering the bulk of the cost. The school business manager noted that the budget contains an alternate to replace the failing HVAC units on the roof for approximately $500,000, which may not be covered by MSBA. And the mayor, in his response to Councilor Kazinskas, has also alluded to additional funding perhaps being required. My expectation is that the school department and mayor will carefully monitor project costs to minimize the possible shortfall, and that if and when additional funds are required, they will come from sources other than this loan order. I don't believe the city can afford more borrowing at this time, and that there will be sufficient city funds available in case of a shortfall. As I said at the beginning, my expectation is that no money will be borrowed on this order and that it will be rescinded when the project is complete. Finally, I would just note that on February 3rd of this year, we approved a $100,000 loan order to fund a feasibility study for this project. The cost of the feasibility study is duplicated in the loan order currently before us. I would therefore ask the mayor for, at some future meeting, to present an order to rescind order number 11480, so that we can take it off the books and avoid any duplication in spending. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Brooks. Any further questions or comments? Again, this is an order, motion to authorize the measure by Councilor Gardner, second by Councilor Mack. It will require a 2/3 vote to pass, and the clerk will now please call the roll.
Counselor Brooks?
Yes?
Counselor Craig Cormier?
Yes.
Counselor Delawitz?
Yes.
Counselor Harder?
Yes.
Counselor Heath?
Yes.
Counselor Hegland?
Yes.
Counselor Kazinskas?
Yes.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Tassoni?
Yes.
Counselor Tebow Munoz?
Yes.
And President Tyrus?
Yes. 11 yeas, the motion passes. Economic and Community Development Committee. Item 11717, October Economic and Community Development Update. Councilor Kazinskas.
Thank you, President Tyros. The Economic Development Committee did not meet, but I did request of Director Stevens to submit a written update from the department, and he did so. The entire update is in the packet for tonight's City Council meeting, and there's also some supporting documentation having to do with the Mackey Park project. And I would encourage anyone watching to take a look at that full packet. I'm going to give a summary of the different projects going on in the Economic Development Department, and I thank Director Stevens for putting together such a comprehensive overview of what they've been doing over the past month or so. Beginning with the Rear Main Street project, basically the project has been moving along as it should, on schedule, and they've been able to kind of move some things around that weren't able to be done in particular order, but the communication's been really good. There was a revised project schedule submitted on October 23rd, with the assumption that any electrical work that is allowed to continue will start on November 3rd, and that's basically the most recent sort of update, as there had to be kind of a stop, or they had to work around part of the project having to do the electrical work. But if anybody drives down there, goes by Rear Main Street, they'll see an immense amount of progress being done on that project, and moving forward. Mackey Park project, in terms of the funding in the budget, there was reclassifications. The Mackey Park account now totals just under $60,000, which fully aligns with the contractor's estimated cost for the remaining project work to get the project up to accessibility codes. And there's been constant correspondence with the contractor, and the department has expressed the need for the work. They want to have the work done by the end of this construction season, so that Mackey Park can have a full season with full accessibility next year, beginning in the warmer months. And the executed contract for the project was listed for the date of substantial completion by November 21st. It's still on schedule to be able to do that, but basically the contractor did need to move around a couple of other projects because there was an excessive amount of rain that was happening, so they have stayed on top of that. And the contractor has also engaged in the discussion of the permit that was issued for the project, and the contractor did confirm that the permit was amended and has been completed for the project. So Mackey Park is moving along as scheduled, but there were some delays due to weather, so we might see something a little bit later in November for it to be brought up to code and be fully accessible. The master plan project, the key issues, opportunities, and goals that have been drafted are being reviewed by the master plan steering committee, and feedback is going to be accepted through November 17th. That continues to be compiled together through public input as well, and after November 17th, the committee will meet again and reassess everything that has been submitted. That continues to move along on schedule. The hazard mitigation plan is another project. There's ongoing community feedback survey that is accepting input until November 19th, so I would encourage any members of the public to add their feedback to that survey, and it is available publicly online. The North Central Pathway in Pearly Brook Culvert, there is the current section of the pathway that has been completed with the paving of Crystal Lake Drive, as people can see as they've gone by, and continues to the Park Street National Grid substation. It's continuing with final review for the submission documents for the continuation of the project, including some conversations with the right-of-way team at National Grid, and documents for that submission should have been finalized for a review by the department on October 31st, which was Friday. In terms of the Pearly Brook culvert, With the failure of that culvert this past June 2025, it's within the right-of-way of the National Grid, so they were also notified that the site visit had occurred in July, and they were there with their representatives. On just last week, October 29th, they received a response from their team saying that they had visited the site over the summer, and by looking at reviews, that they are developing an engineering review to make sure that the proper culvert replacement is designed, and they are aware that it is significant. It's a significant issue, and considering the culvert connection, and they are going to design and replace something accordingly. So there's been sufficient correspondence on that to get that done in a timely manner. In terms of the Garbos property sale, the land disclosure agreement and purchase and sale agreement for the site, for the sale, are still being reviewed and edited. And so that is something that we are being kept apprised of, but it's really in the hands of the legal teams that are doing that. 205 and 213 Main Street sale. The land disclosure agreement and purchase and sale agreement for that sale are still being drafted. Initial conversations with the buyer about the current draft P&S are happening, were happening last week on October 29th. So that continues to be negotiated and discussed. The Greenwood Pool demolition, which I'm sure anyone watching this evening or the councilors here tonight, we've seen over the past couple of weeks or so. In terms of the abatement and site work, the above ground demolition, as people have seen, started on October 24th, and it was completed this past Friday, the October 31st. The historic preservation of different items within the building and the property, I think is something that's been kind of, people have wondered about, and I just want to remind the public that this project has been talked about for years, and it's something that this was planned out very meticulously to be sure that there was historic preservation in place, as well as the funding was available, and this was all done in a safe and efficient manner. So the cupolas, the finials, the bar, which is the desk in there, the Greenwood Pool sign on the side of the building, the display cases were all salvaged prior to or during the demolition so they could be taken down safely and preserved appropriately. So this was a very focused process, and the DPW is taking care of storing those items. And so when in the future, which would be the next phase of the project, there is a there's an area that is built for to basically show the Greenwood Pool preservation and the historic significance of the area. And I can't think of the name of the structure. The pavilion. I'm sorry. I'm like, I don't have it right here because it's just been so second nature to me. Thank you. So when the pavilion is built in the next phase of this project, and that's really dependent on funding and finalizing it, but it's likely to be sooner than expected, and I don't want to give a date because I don't want to be held to it, but also it does seem like it will be able to happen sooner than expected. All of those items are things that will try to be either incorporated in the pavilion site or other places in the city where they can be viewed, and they can be part of, again, the historic piece of the Greenwood Pool. And then in terms of the schedule, the above ground demolition is done, and now if you drive by, you'll see the below ground demolition, and then there will be backfill, and basically we're just waiting for the confirmed schedule from the contractor, but do anticipate that the project will be completed mid to late November. And so that is the Greenwood Pool. And then the last item was there's a few items in the planning board right now. There is a preliminary plan being developed for the Walmart fueling facility, and those plans, the preliminary plans, have been distributed to the planning board with their intention to discuss them at their meeting on November 4th. There's also a preliminary plan for Gamma at their 827 Green Street address, and those plans are also being distributed to the planning board for intent to discuss on November 4th. And then at Linus Lane, 42 Linus Lane, there's a definitive plan involving Mount Wachusett Community College, and comments have been brought to the Mount on their plan at the planning board meeting at the beginning of September. There was no further edits to discuss them, and the planning board will continue to keep the public hearing open for that item until there are new definitive plans that are presented and the site plan review process can be continued at that time. And that's the update from the Economic Development Department, and with that, I would like to make a motion to place the item on file.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Kaczynski, second by Counselor Heath to place the item on file. Is there discussion? Counselor Mack.
Thank you, Council President. I just have, going back to the Pearly Brook culvert, my hope is if it gets to a point that National Grid is given a distinct timeline, because we are in a situation where private and public projects right now are being very held up by National Grid. They are not working in a very quick and effective manner, and I think if we need to, we need to push back against them on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Mack.
Can I just read?
Counselor
Counselor?
Kaczynski.
And I can say that I spoke with Director Stevens too, and he is well aware of the communication on that, as he's had to communicate with them
Yep.
on Mackey
Main
Park
Street.
and Main Street and other projects. So he is definitely, well aware of the need and significance for that.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further comments, questions? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion passes. There's no unfinished business. There's no new business. Counselor comments and remarks. Are there any counselor comments or remarks this evening? Counselor Heath?
Thank you, President Tyros. I guess a slight little update. I talked earlier to Director Arnold over there at the DPW about Pearl Street, and I asked a question on when was Pearl Street going to be finished, in which I was informed that it's going to be about 2 weeks. Once the sidewalks are capped, the street will start to get paved, so it's going to take about 2 weeks. The holdup was basically state funding didn't come through. It came late. That's why, so if you go to any of the cities, towns that are, same exact issue, they're going through with the paving as well right now. Inconvenience, but needed. Other than that, I just want to say tomorrow's election day, and your participation is critical to our voters. Your voice is the most powerful tool you have. Show up, be respectful, and cast your ballot, and help shape the future of our great city. Every vote counts. To our dedicated poll workers, aka Clerk TT and the crew, thank you. You are the backbone of our democracy. We appreciate the long hours, the patience, and the commitment you bring to ensure a fair and smooth election process for everyone. So let's come together, make our voices heard, and have a successful election day in Gardner. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Further council comments? Counselor Mack.
Thank you, Council President. Just with the recent happenings within the state and the country in regards to SNAP benefits, the Gardner City Council will do a community food drive. We are going to all join together to help serve our community. Our CAC desperately needs help, and not only because of the reduction or elimination for a while of SNAP benefits, but also for the upcoming holidays. With the help of Councilor Heath, we will be having a food drive either Saturday, November 8th or Saturday, November 15th. This will be posted on the City Hall website from 9 to 11:30 at our local grocery stores. We ask that if you go grocery shopping and you see us out there, we'll give you a slip of the things needed. That I spoke to Ms. Meehan from the CAC, and we would greatly appreciate our community's help to help those that are in need. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Mack. Counselor Tassoni.
Thank you, President Tyros. As we come to the close of the meeting, I'd like to take a moment to remind everyone that next Tuesday is Veterans Day, an opportunity to honor and thank all who served our country in uniform. Our annual Veterans Day ceremony will take place at Perry Auditorium at 11 a.m. We invite all residents to join us in paying tribute to the men and women who have dedicated their lives to defending our freedoms. Let's take this week to reach out to our vets in our community and families and express our gratitude and reflect on the values they protect every day. We hope to see everyone there. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any further Counselor comments or remarks? Counselor Brooks.
Thank you, Mr. President. There was a great story on the front page of the Gardner News on Saturday about the Paramount Cafe celebrating 90 years in business. I became a customer in the 1980s when I was working in the furniture business downtown and going there for lunch every day. It is true that the daily specials have not changed. Another thing that hasn't changed is the dedication Pat and Pete show to their craft and to their customers, something handed down from parents and grandparents. Over the years, I have noticed that they care about their customers and go the extra mile when needed. It's old world, small town, social work that often gets overlooked or missed in the hustle bustle of today's world. So congratulations to Pat and Peter Mouzos for keeping a good thing going. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any further council comments or remarks? My only comment this evening is I know that we often use this time to discuss serious, heavy topics, but sometimes it's healthy to cover the lighter fare. I know in my research 43 years ago today, the United Nations held its first International Peace Day. More locally, in Gardner, Councilor Dernowitz was born. Happy birthday, Councilor. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn after the closing prayer.
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. We stand adjourned.
Almighty Father, who sees over all, as we adjourn, we thank you for the opportunity of joint deliberation and action witnessed during the course of this meeting. Bless, O Lord, all that are gathered here, and the people whose representatives we are, and do not attend to our common welfare until our next meeting. Amen.